I appreciate everybody taking the time to come out to this community town hall. I recognize this isn't the first time Fort Greely has done a community town hall, but we kind of wanted to bring it back to the team, the community here. This is more than I expected, so thank you. Thank you for taking the time. Most of you already know me, but I want to introduce myself, Lieutenant Colonel Clark. I'm the Garrison Commander here at Fort Greely. And then this is...
Good evening, and again, like the Commander said, thanks for coming. My name is Scott Enlaw. I'm your Deputy Garrison Commander here at Fort Greely.
Welcome. Command Sergeant Major Holly. I am your Garrison Command Sergeant Major.
We got to stay in a bubble because we're on video. We're actually recording this. We understand that, you know, with the furlough, there are a lot of people that may have had some leave that they need to expend. It's the Christmas time. So we want to ensure that we still have this available for people if they're not here today. Again, this is a community town hall. The idea behind this is essentially like we want to ensure that we are transparent and that we communicate to all of you of what's going on and that we inform you of things that are happening, events that are happening, or just inform you about the garrison in a non-super, teaching type of way, but just so we are all on the same page as we move forward in this community together. So I know the email said that there is going to be no slides, so there's no slides, but there is an agenda. Again, essentially this is an opportunity for us to have a conversation. We'll put out a couple of things, let the totality of the community kind of know what our senior commander's priorities are. And so our senior commander is Lieutenant General Sean Gainey out at Space and Missile Defense Command. We'll put out his kind of priorities to big picture and then talk a little bit about what us as a garrison, our priorities are, and how our environment is currently shaping how we move forward. So I will start off by talking about General Gainey's priorities. So as a whole, the Army is going through a shift. You'll start to hear a little bit of chatter about Wainwright getting additional forces. There's a lot of force structure changes that are coming down within the Army specifically. And so SMDC, Space and Missile Defense Command, is actually expanding their operational force structure. So the command is now getting additional forces, Army Air and Missile Defense Commands, within its operational footprint. And so that has shifted General Gainey's and SMDC's priorities slightly. And I'll just go ahead and read them because I don't have them memorized. But essentially right now, SMDC's priorities are transform SMDC into a war-fighting headquarters. So previously, it was primarily the biggest war fighter that SMDC had was us here, with the 49th as the shooter protecting the homeland and the brigade as the oversight back there in Colorado Springs. But now they have Army Air and Missile Defense Commands that deploy 32nd Double AMDC that deploys to CENTCOM region. We're now taking on, SMDC is taking on the National Capital Region, defense of the NCR, National Capital Region. And so they're trying to figure out how can we be now a war-fighting headquarters, but then also have and be a senior commander over this installation. Another priority is everybody has heard about, you know, potential expansion here within Fort Greely as it relates to Golden Dome. Still conversation, still talks about it, but one of SMDC's priority is talking about the establishment of the command and control that is doing the development of Golden Dome of America. Also, their third priority is enabling multi-domain operations within space and high altitude capabilities. as well as grow and deliver ready air and missile defense and space combat forces. And so I guess the question is, well, how do we fit in? Truthfully, we fit into all of that because we enable his priorities here at the Garrison. What we do is enable the priorities. And so now we'll talk a little bit about the Garrison's priorities. But before we do, I do not mean to insult anyone's intelligence, but I just wanted to read what our mission statement is here at Fort Greely. And again, so our mission statement here at Fort Greely is that Fort Greely, we integrate resources and we deliver installation services to our mission partners. And so who are our mission partners? Our mission partners, our biggest tenant unit is the 49th Missile Defense Command. The second is the Missile Defense Agency. And then we have 59th Signal. We have the MEDAC services at the clinic. We also have ARTIC, or the Army Cold Regions Test Center, that tons of civilians that support that important mission here. And so those are the primary tenants within the installation, but then we also have our mission partners like the LRC, the Logistics Readiness Center, as well as DECA, the Commissary, and AFES. And so we at the Garrison, we integrate all of those services and resources to ensure that we're sustaining and we're enhancing the quality of life here for our soldiers, our civilians, and our families. So sorry, again, I'm not trying to insult anyone's intelligence, but I just want to remind everybody that's what the Garrison does. And so when we have town halls like this, it's primarily going to be talking about those types of things. And so our priorities, we set them, we will continue to set them, but essentially our priorities don't change within this installation. Within this Garrison, our priorities are mission support, continuing to deliver those services to our mission partners. And, you know, the 49th is the one primarily, like we are here to provide missile defense. We, as a Garrison, enable our missile defenders to provide that defense of the homeland. For the Garrison, our other biggest priority is to develop our workforce. In order for us to be able to provide excellent services to you, we have to have the most capable and most intelligent and most ready workforce. And so our job is to provide that development and opportunities for development. And then, of course, community engagement. We are here to bring us all together. We know where we live. We know it can be challenging if you step outside. And so our job is to ensure that we are providing opportunities to come together, to sometimes shiver together, but we provide those things. And so I just want to let everybody know what our priorities are, because I think it's important, especially in this environment. As we continue to move down throughout the next quarter and the next quarter, I know most of the people in this installation has felt kind of the challenges that have persisted throughout this year. We have a workforce that is not as robust as we would like it to be. We have resources that may not be as great as we need, especially here. And so us identifying our priorities to you helps you kind of see where we're looking at when we're looking at our requirements and our personnel and our resources. So I apologize for like that whole rundown, but that is the reason why we tell you what our priorities are. And we'll get a little bit more into the environment here in a little bit. I had Mike Burnett, our emergency manager, was on tap to kind of talk a little bit, remind us about the winter and all of the things, but unfortunately his car froze. So, so I'm actually gonna have Mr. Enlow kind of go over the things that I wanted Mr. Burnett to go over. And again, this is to enhance our awareness and ensure that we're all safe as a community.
Thank you, ma'am. So if you are in the distro list for the Garrison workforce, or even List A, distribution list A, which includes our partners and other units, you should be seeing things on a monthly update from the emergency manager. Things like the monthly message for November. December is yet to be published, but it's, I'm sure, well on its way. Was about winter storms and how you could prepare for winter storms, cold weather injuries, things that you could look at, right? So those resources there, that's a valuable education tool if you are a sourdough, which some of us know what that means, or if you're a chichaco, or if you're just doing the best you can with what you got and you're brand new. Those tools are there to remind us: wear your gloves so you don't get contact frostbite. Wear multiple layers so you don't overheat and then in turn become a cold weather casualty. All those things that we know, right, and we try and teach the new people as they grow into becoming sourdoughs. So just don't be afraid to use that tool and refresh yourself, because safety matters, being prepared matters in the realm of emergency management. One of the other things that I need you to know is to check road conditions. Phone number for that is pretty simple. 907-873, like every other number on this installation, but the last four, it's real hard to remember. ROAD. R-O-A-D. If you're not old enough to know that numbers on the telephone represent letters as well, look on it and spell out ROAD, which is going to cause you to press 7623. So again, full number, 907-873-7623. Another tool along those lines for our off-post roads is the state of Alaska's program 511. You can call 511 from a mobile device, or you can go to the website http://511.alaska.gov. You can also do this in the Yukon Territory if you are going to be driving the Alcan, and then found at forecast.weather.gov. Those are some quick reference tools. And then the other thing that's paramount, especially when you look at it from a workforce lens, but also from a community lens, the alert system is there for our emergency management communications. So it is imperative that you update your information in the alert system. So when there's, a gas cloud from the chlorine that we use to oxidize water that keeps it treating the pool, or something along those lines. Not that that was part of the full-scale exercise or anything, but it was. That's where we're going to message. You're going to hear immediate threat messaging on the great voice or the minor voice, which is the inside great voice. You're going to hear immediate stuff like that through that system, and you're going to get an alert, phone call, and or text message, depending on how you have the profile settings set up. So every Nipper computer is going to prompt you on your alerts account. Otherwise, get with Mike Burnett. He will walk you through the steps. He is that customer friendly to getting yours, and if necessary, your family members' profiles up to date so that they can know what's going on with you while you're at work. Because there are some jobs where you don't get to check on your family, you have to go do something. Guys in uniform, gals in uniform, people out on the field, right? Okay? I cover all your metrics that you want?
Yeah, and so I would say that this is really important information, so I'm gonna put it out here up front. One of the things that I would like to ensure that we get better at, that we practice, is how we respond to emergencies. Again, we know where we live, we know what the mission is. It's a very...
Emphasize that statement. Not to say how our DES personnel in police, fire, and physical security respond to accidents, but how we as a community respond to emergencies.
As a community. And so when you get an exercise, shelter in place, do you know what to do? Do we all as a community know what to do? The intent within the next year and the year after is to become experts at responding to potential emergencies, because we do not know. we live in an environment where we do not know if something is going to happen, but we need to be prepared. And so we're gonna keep doing these community town halls to socialize that. We'll start putting out some more things as we go throughout the quarters and some ways that we are going to try to practice this. But I think it's important, again, if you do not have the alert system, if family members aren't aware of the text messaging system that they can have access to, then they need to talk or just send Mike Burnett on the global an email. Or you can always reach out to myself and I will email Mike Burnett, or Sergeant Major will email Mike Burnett, or Mr. Enlow will email Mark Burnett. But again, it's very important for us to not be complacent with where we live, because it's not in our face, because it's not something that we do on a normal basis. Sometimes we forget that it's here, right? That there is a real potential for something to happen and we need to be prepared. So, surprise. But it's
heavy. Give us
well, actually, it's just going to get a little bit more heavier because we're going to talk about, I mean, this reality, right? I think in my first coffee and conversation, I spoke of wanting to be able to talk about rainbows and kittens and all of the wonderful things we want in life. But sometimes life is life, and we find opportunities. We find things to progress us forward. And so, but we have to be realistic about it, right? I'm a very, I think, a realistic person. I do not want to cover and fluff and do all the things, because I think it's important for us to just understand our environment. And unfortunately, our environment fiscally isn't super awesome. We all know what just took place about a month ago. We had the government shutdown, and it was tough, right? It was tough. It sucked. Every single person that's in here, every single part of our workforce and our teammates, they wanted to come in and put 1,000% into what they were doing. But it was tough because all of the other things were occupying our space as well, right? And so I wish I could say that's not going to happen again in the next 60 days, but it might, right? The CR is only good until January 31st. We hope that people can come together and figure out a solution, but we have to be prepared if not. And so when we talk about what are we procuring, all the things, I think we are on a limited budget. We're on a month-to-month budget.
Yes, that's accurate. We should be forecasting by month. We have everything that we're going to get through the end of January. And then it's forecasted to be spent within December and January.
And so what does that mean for the installation? Like, we're doing a month-to-month, estimation, but projects that we had planned, we are having to put a little bit more extra thought and care into how we're going to be able to execute these plans, because the total monies for any given project may not be the amount that we need in a month-to-month. And so it's been a little bit challenging for our DPW, Mr. Todd Hayden and team, but they've got a great plan. We've got a way forward, but I will just say, we want things to happen just as much as everybody else, but sometimes, we just can't do it because of those constraints that we have with money and personnel. And I want to talk about personnel. Just so everybody's tracking, I believe most people are tracking. The government as a whole took a big hit and losses with DoD civilians. I will tell you, those losses hurt even more at a small, remote installation like this. It can be challenging. It can be extremely challenging because you're only working with a certain amount of people, right? The garrison took a big hit. The garrison took a big hit. DPW probably took one of the biggest hits. And so what does that mean? Like, DPW, they do all of the things. They do more things than I thought that they do, but they clean the roads, they fix the facilities, They're doing the trucks to pick up your trash. You know, they're actually breaking up the gravel that they sprinkle across the road in the wintertime. And so we had a workforce essentially drop by 10, over 10 people. And that hits rough. And so I say that to say this, please give people grace. If that snow pile is a little bit too high, or something is a little bit too smelly, or we're not able to get to the sauna because of all of the things, like, please give people grace. It is important for us to be able to prioritize life, health, safety first, especially in the wintertime, right? But please know that we wish we could do it all. But we have to work within our limitations as well. Our limitations of resources meaning personnel, one, money, two. So just be cognizant of that. So services, we've also acknowledged that some of our services, we had it, then it went away, and then we still have it, but it's only like this amount of time. And again, it boils down to the amount of people that we have in this remote area. We want to be able to keep them, so we don't want to work people to death. So we have had to have some very hard conversations. It came up earlier, well, why is the commissary not open on Sundays? Well, again, I ask the question all the time to myself, is the juice worth the squeeze? And we have to recognize that people are people just like us, and they need time off. If I ask you to work to the moon and beyond, like, will you stay with me forever if I just keep working you like that? And so we have to make very hard decisions, ones that we don't want. The DFAC. The DFAC dinner services had to go away. I will tell you, the DFAC personnel were working 3 shifts at a minimal capacity since like April. And so they were busting their butts to try to keep the services available. And again, we ask a lot of you all, right? And there comes a point where I can't justify continuing to ask you. And so we had to make the decision. I will tell you, Army Services Command, that's not right. Army Sustainment Command, ASC, is actively trying to get dinner services back. And so they have looked into the contracting route. I think that's the way that we're going. And hopefully we'll be able to get dinner services back January timeframe. So we'll see about that. But know that there are some things that are going to look different. We just got a wonderful indoor playground. And I think that people enjoy it so much they want more time there. I will tell you right now, we will not be expanding CAC hours, but the conversation is being had because we understand that this is an amazing place for our kids, and being able to have it more often than not is something that we would like to do. But we have to see, does it make sense with our people? And again, the CAC, even though it's like it's an appropriated fund facilities because it's a community facility, but it's also a not appropriated fund facility, meaning there are people that work there, they have to make enough money for them to be able to work there. So when I always ask the question, is the juice worth the squeeze? Like, you ask for the services, are we utilizing the services, right? So we are looking into expanding CAC hours and changing it up a little bit to support the community, because you've asked for it, and we understand that playground is awesome. But just know that we have to do our analysis, and we have to do what makes sense for the totality of the garrison and the workforce. Anybody want to add anything? I've been doing a lot of talking, sorry.
Anytime you need me to sub in, man, you let me know.
The defect, just share with the team.
Come over here.
Just for the defect, in most places, right? You have the force that can support these things. Right? When we have a big hit on the employee side, the Army civilians, soldiers was able to fill the gaps on some of the things. Right. However, that soldier belongs to somebody. That soldier has to have authority to do it. Just not here in Fort Greely, we don't have that many soldiers, and we have to have approval to do it. There's an authority that soldiers do what they're supposed to be doing, so we can't, it's very difficult to use soldier because every soldier in this installation has specific mission. So they have to first they have to do that. And we don't have the numbers to kind of help breach some of the gaps, help cover some of the services that we do. It's called the military bar military manpower. We just don't have the authority to do it at the same time, or most importantly, we just don't have the numbers to do it. So we rely heavily on our teammates, on our Army civilians, our folks, and we get hit like that, we're gonna have to go back and talk services and discuss all these other things.
So one of the things that the commander touched on, and Sergeant Major touched on a little bit there, the non-appropriated funds, right? I will tell the community, if they'll listen to me, you get what you use. You keep what you use, right? So please, see what the hours that are available at current and use it. Use it to your heart's content. Encourage others to use it. I invited a bunch of people on a community meeting with Fort Wainwright to get their keisters down here and
Today,
sit in
he did
our
that.
lodging so that they could see what remote, rugged Alaska looks like. Enjoy some aurora that they can't see because all their light
It's
pollution.
beautiful, right?
Right? Enjoy the crisp air freezing your nose hairs while you look at moose. I mean, these are all rites of passage for every Alaskan. But at any rate, my message that I would like for you to really take to heart is use it, please. Use it a lot so that we can expand hours, so that we can have nice things for the warfighter and their family that's here, so we can ancillarily get the benefit of being able to walk over the CAC and get our lunch as civilians. Like, those aren't guarantees. We need to keep those doors open so that we can have those added benefits. The other thing with regard to the BMM and the authority, so, big picture, the Army pushes down the budget and we get a catalog of services that says Fort Greely will do these things. Well, some of our services are funded. That's people and operational budget. So our capacity to buy things that we need, like equipment, or do projects that we need, and pay you as Army civilians, if you are one. Some of those are funded to black levels. So red, the Army likes its color coding. That being the worst, it's like 60% or less. It could be $2, it could be 60% of a normal operational budget to include civilian pay. So those are the parameters that Headquarters Department of the Army has resourced as it flows through our organic chain in IMCOM to say, this is what you're going to do at this level. So when we start talking about what the community can expect, right, that's where we're going next, what the community can expect, smart application of those very limited resources is my simple way of putting it. We have to be very guarded in the prioritization of what we're doing so that we get the most bang for the buck or the most juice out of the squeeze when we go to apply it to take care of the war fighters, their families, followed by retirees, civilians, right? All of our customer base that we like to talk about as IMCOM. That's what you should expect. Now, it could translate to you and your family not liking a set of hours, and what we would like is feedback.
Feedback, lots
We
of
need to
feedback.
know, and we kind of grazed past it, and I think we'll go back to it, but right there in our first quarter priorities, communication, transparency, and updates during change, right? So these meetings and everything else, that's what we're talking about. Being clear and transparent. and eliciting that feedback so we know where we can make improvements, or at least we have the opportunity to do better.
No, that's perfect. But again, just to add on that, right? Like, so you can expect us to be thoughtful, but also, again, to solicit feedback. And so we have tools that are out there, right? We've got the ICE comment option that I think that people utilize. We do get some great feedback. But I would say use it. Like, if you have an idea and it's been burning, hey, this would be a great idea. As we really have to make those tough decisions, we want input from our community. And we owe you that transparency, right? Because this is we're a big community, and like what we do is to support you. So we need that feedback from you. And opportunities like this, like we'll stop talking here in like 5 minutes so you can provide us some feedback and ask some questions. But we value your feedback. We are here because of you. And so we know that we need to be able to do this together. Other things that you can expect from us is that, like, we're going to continue to fight. Like, I know that, again, like, we've been a little doom and gloom, right? Talked about, like, oh, resources aren't that great, blah, blah, blah. But you can always expect that us as a command and a garrison are going to fight for more things. We don't settle for the bare minimum. We will fight for more things for our community. And I will tell you up front, I really hope that there are opportunities within Space and Missile Defense Command as well for them to be able to provide us a little bit more love. And so we are going to actively work on trying to get additional things for this community, because we understand, right? Like, we're living it right now. It's negative 20-something outside. And it's dark. I think we only have like 4 hours of daylight today. It's important for us to have things for us because it can be challenging. But we appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for coming out today. I'm not going to have us go over like the different things from each of our directorates. And so if you're not tracking, the main directorates that we have is our Department of Public Works, that do so much. We have our Department of Emergency Services, Sunny's in the back over there, that does so much to keep us safe and secure and protected. And then we have our DFMW, our morale and welfare recreations, that's here. We got Jamal standing up here, ready to represent, that do all of the fun things, right? Like the things that I really love. But again, to keep us up, to keep us together as a community. So if you have burning questions for any of them, feel free to answer them. We do have some of our partners in here. Thanks, Medac, for showing up. They're keeping us healthy, right? And hopefully we can get some things working, but no promises. But so if you have any questions about anything, we have the experts. I will stop talking. Mr. Enlow will be here to answer questions. Sergeant Major will be here to answer questions, but I will stop talking and open it up to the group if there are any questions.
If you have a question, please let me run to you so I can let you speak into the mic.
Or a comment.
Yes.
Feedback. Oh. Oh, yeah.
I know there's been issues with the track still being closed. Do we have any idea when that's going to be done? And was that affected by the government shutdown, why it isn't done yet?
So I will tell you, it wasn't affected by the government shutdown. I'm actually going to pass it over, but up front, we recognize that the track is very important to our community. And so it was not affected by the government shutdown, but affected by how we've built it in the past. And so Todd, Mr. Hayden is here, who's our DPW, that can kind of give a better explanation. But I will turn it over to Todd. Like Todd's like.
Okay, well, We basically ran into some issues when we pulled the track up, found that the original construction was faulty, had some errors in the surface that we were unaware of, so we had to stop, do some repairs. We are now finishing up those and trying to mitigate some of the issues between it and the turf because of those issues we found. And our tentative schedule, we're still negotiating with the contractor right now. We've been going back and forth this last week, going over the final change orders with that. And I'm hoping that everything will be tentatively done toward the end of this month. But until we get that settled, I don't want to give an exact date or anything. But we are working through that and then have them do it. We got to have them do a full thorough cleaning. Make sure everything's safe to get back in there because we don't want to leave the tripping hazard between the new track surface and the grassed area inside. So just lots of challenges we hit with trying to get things done. So tentatively kind of toward the end of the month.
So,
Todd, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're looking at the long term, so we don't have to deal with this again.
Yes, we are trying to get that so that we actually have a true fix so that we can be looking at a good 15, 20 years of life instead of 7
Thank you.
that we got out of the first run.
does that answer your question? Okay.
Do
You
have
said you had a
another
couple of questions.
Questions, yeah. The other thing is the 24-hour access with the gym. It seems to be down more often than not. Is that something that is being looked into? Is it something kind of like the commissary of the computers where they like to crash occasionally and it's just a fun glitch that the poor people who work there have to deal with?
Mr. Enlow has his hand raised to answer your question.
So you had all the right metrics there, and you're 100% right. It seems like it's down more than it's functional, but it's up a lot of the time, and they track it to the hour of people that come in, failed swipes and successful swipes and system updates. So the short answer, peek behind the curtain, is the system gets an update, and it has to be logged back into. So when you come there at 6 in the morning to be good PT users, or somebody comes there in the middle of the night, if that update is run, it's going to fail. So we know that. We're tracking it to the nth degree, and strive to do better.
Okay. And this last one I have is more of a suggestion, I guess. I don't know if y'all have had to drive down First Street on particularly windy days during wintertime.
The one over by.
That's like right in front of the old
Yeah.
school. With that big field there, we get some absolutely absurd snow drifts. And a couple times a year, my husband we have a side-by-side that has a snow shovel on the front. We've had to dig out school buses and various people out of like 3 or 4 foot snow drifts. And I understand that there's monetary restrictions at the moment, but we were wanting to slide the idea of putting a snow fence somewhere over there. I know they put a lot of their big snow piles over there, and that's great towards the end of winter, but at the beginning when it's still going, that's still a lot of, like Thanksgiving. We dug several people out of a snowdrift that was 3.5 feet high.
Yeah, I saw some of those pictures where people were like trying to navigate it and they kind of got stuck and
Yeah.
then.
That's roughly about once a month in front of our house.
Like two snow blowers, is that what you call them?
Yeah, snow
Both
blowers.
of our husbands got out there and did it on their own, and they got out of cooking, but the point is both of theirs went down. So they couldn't do it anymore, and people had to get out and like walk or not go down that street or whatever, because we couldn't get it done ourselves.
No, we appreciate that feedback. Again, I saw the pictures, and we will have a conversation and see what is within the realm of possible for sure. And then.
Is that at North Haven's roadway, Todd?
No, it is actually one we do maintain, but it's a tertiary compared to our other
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay, so he said tertiary, that means third in priority. All of the roads are racked and stacked for mission support, right? So those roads that are considered tertiary are gonna be the third in priority. First in priority gets done and addressed by the roads and grounds crew, then we go to second, and then there's third. And somewhere way, way, way down the line is parking lots. So we try to keep the roads open based off of that priority, but tremendous feedback, thank you.
I figured it wasn't exactly a high priority, but a snow fence might help maybe.
100%.
We've written it down, snow fence, for sure.
Have we ever had a snow fence there before, Todd, in the years past?
No, but we have talked about several of the roads, trying to look at ideas of snow fencing and what we can do so they don't look like some kind of just mechanical thing. We've looked at everything from putting in tree lines to different things trying to mitigate this. And again, it always comes down to, at the end of the year, X amount of funds, and we just don't quite get the snow fences in. But they are on our agenda as things to look at.
Thanks, Todd. Anybody else? I gotta get my steps in.
So just, I guess piggybacking on parking lot thing. So we seem to have our parking lot like taken over by like, I don't know what building it belongs to, but they just put up signs for all their government vehicles. They're all parked in front. We literally have about 2 or 3 parking spots for our patients parking. They have all the government vehicles in front, and then they park in the back. So I don't know who authorized it. We didn't hear anything about it. We've gotten complaints from our patients that they don't have any parking, so they're having to park in the employee parking on our side.
I've not seen the new signs. Are we tracking any new
They're-
signs people put up?
They're put
Todd?
on like the document protectors, and they're stuck on there. So
Oh, that's not real.
I think that's probably a VA contractor.
So let me make a bold statement, and the police are probably gonna groan, maybe not, I don't know. There's one type of reserved parking spot on the installation, and that's those that are placarded with handicap. Nobody else gets to reserve a parking
You could
spot on
take
this
that back.
installation.
Thing.
But great crosstalk with our community partner that thinks that it might be somewhere ancillary in their footprint. They'll do better.
yeah, I mean, it just says like, we have a little sign that just says patient parking, just to let them know, but there's no room for it. It's like maybe 1 or 2. And then I guess the employees, whoever park in the back. And then there was one instance where an individual had like a 40-foot long truck and then a 40-foot long trailer behind him, and they were, I mean, I'm over exaggerating, but it was a long trailer with another vehicle, and it was parked long ways, which took over, another 6 or 7 parking spots. And it was, so it's like, when is like enough.
Improper parking, need to call the police and let them address it. If they've parked across multiple lines all day long, call them.
So that building recently was remodeled and opened back up to the workforce, and so.
You're gonna make me crawl through the pew, aren't you?
I was just going to say what you said, sir. If they're taking up too many spots, call us, or call dispatch, and we'll come take care of that.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention. What else? More questions,
So,
comments, feedback?
the watch commander back here, Lieutenant Evanecki, said absolutely, like I said, call them, call dispatch, 873 cops, and report them. And then I'm emboldening you to park in things that are signed, that are not handicapped, just park there. It's your installation too. We don't have a parking problem, we have a walking problem. They can walk to their offices. If it's in front of your building, park there, unless it's handicapped.
Okay, I have one. I'm pulling it up. Okay, the clinic. I know that we've had issues in the past getting a pediatrician down here and a female doctor down here. I think what would help is putting the word out there earlier. This morning at 8:15, Jessica messaged the Greely family chat saying that today and tomorrow a pediatrician will be here. Well, guess what? It was 8:15 in the morning.
No.
Today, right?
Yes.
Why not the week before? Why not like get the information to the families before the day of or the day before, right? Because anybody else that works just can't take off right now to go take their kid or the next day. So if they know at least a week in advance, people can take off to see the female doctor or the pediatrician, but also try to get them out here maybe every other month or something. I know attendance has been an issue, but also so has getting the word out.
Yeah. No, acknowledge, agree. And so us at the Garrison, we're definitely integrators, what we're supposed to be. And so we owe our community that, is to be able to have that crosstalk and understand what resources will be available. And we owe you that 1,000%. And so we will get better at that. I agree with you, Fee. I agree. I'm sorry
No,
that
that's fine.
happened.
It was just
but
an
we will
idea.
definitely work to try to be better doing that. And then we have Medak here.
You got to follow on.
Do you want a mic? Well, I mean, that's like the tiny mics. You still have to
Very
use your
official.
voice.
Thank you for bringing that up. And I think the way that we've been putting out women's health mostly at this point in time has been flyers in the clinic. So we try to get that out at least a month prior. And with the pediatrician coming down here, that was not necessarily for specialty care. It was just because Doc Molliver, who is able to see pediatrics on a regular basis, he's just not here this week. So we were wanting to make sure we had a couple of days this week covered for peds. So it wasn't necessarily a specialty care situation, more so just making sure we had a couple days where this week we wouldn't be high and dry without anyone to see pediatrics.
So, yes, we will get better. How are you receiving your information, though? Did someone text you?
It was in the Greely's Facebook messaging group,
The Greely's Facebook message.
Greely families.
Oh.
P.S. I'm the guy that drives back and forth from Fairbanks almost every day.
That girl.
Hey, ma'am, if you would just give Angela or I a call in public affairs, and maybe even a week before, we can do a FaceTime reel, we can do a little coffee and conversation type thing like we do with the commander, and we can let the families know that what capabilities you're bringing and when they'll be here. Sure. Thank you.
I had another question about the medical stuff. We have several people who are in various stages of pregnancy who have been sort of given the runaround as far as stork nesting and how to get that organized. Because I know at least one of our friends, she's having to pay it all out of pocket and just hope that they're going to get reimbursed for it. And any information that they've gotten on it has been, I don't know, or you need to go find someone in Fairbanks, but not referencing anybody or giving any idea past, you just need to go to Fairbanks.
Do you have any information on that, or we can reach back?
Yes, that's very unfortunate that it's been such a runaround when that's a time of life when you really want to have everything in order. So I completely understand. I think the past few months have been difficult with that type of thing, just as we are all kind of learning in the clinic with our new staff and just making sure we have all of our ducks in a row. Right now, I know we do have a stork nesting packet up at the front desk that kind of outlines the process of how to go through that. But if that has been confusing, I can definitely look into streamlining that process, and I can put that on my to-do list. That's very easy to work on, so make that more accessible.
I guess the biggest question is stork nesting still a thing? Because I know previously
Yes.
families weren't told that they had to pay up front, but now I think families are feeling like they're being told that they have to pay up front to do the stork nesting. And some people just don't have the ability to do that up front,
Right.
if that makes sense. And I think that
Definitely.
some people were told that they could not use the government travel card if they were going to do the stork nesting. But I mean, that would be an option, right? Because there are certain,
Again, this is, you're starting to get into the TRICARE realm and
Yeah.
not the medical realm. and
Yeah.
so the reimbursement, I can tell you how to care, but just because I tell you how to care, TRICARE has rules and regulations on how to receive that care, and they change it on a regular basis. So I'm not up to speed right now on the stork nesting
Yeah.
patterns, requests that
Yeah.
TRICARE has put on us.
so I think what we owe you is a little bit more clarity on more of the process and the and who to talk to. Okay. And it might be in your packet. But, yeah, we owe you an answer. And so what we'll do with this town hall and the questions that have come out, we will put out informations and updates, responses. And so that's an email that goes out to a good majority of the workforce, but then we can also upload something onto our socials.
Absolutely.
So you have the answers to the questions that you've asked, and also even the questions that were asked, just putting it out there. So the totality of our community has what was brought up today.
Anybody else? Questions?
I think when you're looking into that, as far as I was told, was they did go to PAD, and I think the issue is that her due date got moved up because she seems to be further along than what she was originally told. So I don't know if there's a rule that you need to know so far in advance, and that may be the issue. Now her due date has been moved up, and she's already been at Bassett once this week for contractions. Like, she's ready to go any minute. So that's one of the things, that it might be because there's not enough time, but at the same time, you can't predict when any woman is going to go into labor, right? So I don't know if that's something that you need to add or look into. Maybe that's the reasoning. And then the other thing, back to communicating from the doctors that are visiting. I know not everybody gets like Angie's emails. I only get them because I know her and I do have a job here, but the spouses don't get that information. So putting it on Facebook is great, but also maybe doing the like distribution to all the soldiers.
And so we agree it should be able to get out to everybody, but I would offer to you, our belly button should be through your FRG leaders. And then your FRG leaders would distribute that out to the rest of that's.
Yes, but I have to have the information before 8:15 the day of, right?
No, I get that, but I didn't have the information at all, so I wouldn't be able to send you anything.
Right.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm just saying.
But yes, absolutely.
But we also can't email every soldier, right? And to then tell their spouse. So we need time to do that.
No, absolutely. And so we, again, like I said, we have to work better on communicating when these, services do become available and sending that out too. But are you one of the FRG leaders for HHB?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
So.
Yeah, that will come with us being able to make
Oh,
sure
okay.
that we have more time, right? We give you more time to be
Yeah.
able to socialize the information. Yeah. More? I love these. I love it. No, like these are important questions, right? Like these are the questions that, families have. And so we do appreciate you bringing the questions to us.
Can I, ma'am?
Yes.
I would also suggest, this is the community town hall, right? So this is where spouses are invited. It's just not Garrison or employees. Families are invited. But when I look around, I don't see a lot of families. So for us, we can be as transparent as we hope to be. But there's also a little onus on the community itself to also seek that information. So I'm grateful for the commander to start doing these new forums, these town halls that are open to everybody. And since this is really kind of just the first one, maybe from here on out, we can do a better job of getting the word out that, hey, come join us. It's an easy conversation. It's a light conversation. But if you want to know information, I'm sure there are a lot of women that want to know information about the questions you just asked to MEDAC, but where are they, right? So, and I know people have families and all that type of thing, but I know she's very amicable to trying to move it to where the majority of people can attend. So just keep that in mind. If you can, pass that along. Hey, this was an open forum, so please join us next time.
So I shared the flyer as soon as I got it. I don't remember if Angie got it to me first or if it was on the Facebook page first, and I shared it as soon as I saw it, which is usually within the same day. But at the same time, this started at 4:30. This is all workforce. I work part-time. She's not working, right?
My husband came home 30 minutes early just so I didn't have to bring the kids.
What would be a better time?
Well,
Past 5 o'clock?
that's hard to say because I know there's some people out there that have to go pick up their kids at the CDC, right? So we don't have kids in the CDC, so I don't think about that all the time. But like I told her, my husband doesn't get off till 5 if he gets off on time. And, you know, I've got 3 kids running around. So my kids are with her husband only because he was able to get off early. Yeah. That's the only reason why we're here. So after 5 o'clock,
Okay.
maybe. I don't know if everybody else got out of work a little early. I don't know. They're your employees. I don't know if they got off to be here, but not necessarily, the soldiers don't necessarily get to do that.
No, that's wonderful feedback. So again, like this is our first one,
Yeah.
and I've just been, from what I've seen, a lot of people once they like get off work, they're gone, right? Like they're gone and there's no coming back. And so acknowledge this is our first one. I think that's valuable feedback, and we will adjust the time next time. Maybe even do like a survey monkey. You guys can poll what would be a good time to be able to have this conversation, right? Again, we appreciate your feedback, and so I think it's important.
Also, leveraging this wonderful opportunity, we have a YouTube channel. We have the Facebook page for the official agency, right? So push anybody that wasn't here tonight that needed to hear what was going on to get in touch with Angela to help them find these resources and those meetings. That's not a solution. I'm just saying let's leverage that tool.
So this time it's recorded, correct? Yeah. Okay, last time
It was not.
and we had people Facebook message questions in because they could log on from their home or their job. So even the librarian, like she came up to me randomly and was like, oh, you had really good questions because she was watching live at home. So it's just an idea.
We've never done it.
Alaska did.
Oh.
Yeah.
All great feedback. We appreciate it. We need to get close to wrapping up. I'm not discouraging any comments. We'll stay here all night if that's what it is, but I got to respect your time as well. One thing that I wanted to talk about, adding, there's an equation. I listened to a book John C. Maxwell wrote, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, which we're all community leaders in our own respects, right? One of those things, there's an equation in life. If you're adding to other people, it's not going to detract from you. That's the only equation that balances out in an always positive manner. If you're giving of yourself and you're adding to other people, then you're going to get more back. That's not why you do it. You're not doing things of service or care because you want to feel better about yourself. When you truly add to other people and you're putting it out there for them and you're executing in transparency like the commander is talking about, we're all going to win. So keep sharing, keep adding to us. We'll do our best to keep adding to you, and we'll all be excellent. And I'm going to pass to Angela Glass.
Just one thing that I wanted to mention is that you were talking earlier about a was it a Facebook group that she sent to like Fort Greely families? Anything that can help get information out about things that I can be added to would be wonderful. I know that recently that I asked to be added to, there's like a Facebook page for HHB families, Alpha Company families. Whenever I send out information in email distro, I recognize that there's a lot of people that are not on it because they don't have a .mil email address, and upkeep of that type of email distro is extremely challenging with people leaving and coming as they, but if you add me to one of those groups, I'll always send the flyers that I put out there. I usually send them to Micah Spradlin as well as Beatrice. Is that her name? Beatrice. And I ask them to be sent out. But if there's any groups on social media, any email distros, I can always just add it to my list of when we send out news that I can let you guys know. If you add me to any sort of group or even a text circle, I don't mind letting people know about things if they don't feel like they're getting them in time. And we're definitely working on streamlining our email distros and being able to add people that don't have a .mil, email address to be able to get more information. But I just wanted to say that, if there's something that you don't see me on, be like, hey, you can add me to that distro so I can help you guys some more.
Yeah.
Yes, and those social media groups, if you go on there, you can't, I think one of them, you can't even comment. So I just send it over Messenger and then they post it. But if I was given privileges to be able to post, I think it would happen a lot more. Yeah. Not I'm sorry, it was Alpha Company? Yeah, that one. Okay.
The Greely family wanted mostly through Messenger chat anyway.
Oh, thank you, friend. Cool.
Everybody's like beep, beep,
Beep, beep, beep, beep, beep. There was a question that was submitted. Oh,
This one.
yes. That we wanted to get answered and have it be reported. I understand that some installations, including Fort Wainwright, are now granting commissary privileges to contractors with common access cards. Given Fort Greely's remote location and significant challenges, including a 200-mile round trip, often in hazardous driving conditions associated with accessing affordable off-base shopping options, I'm curious if there are any plans to extend this benefit to contractors supporting the mission here. I believe that providing commissary access would significantly improve contractor retention and morale. Furthermore, I would like to ask about the potential reinstatement of commissary privileges for spouses of federal employees who have previously held commissary cards.
So I just want to quickly respond back to what you were saying about Facebook and live stream and all of the things. So I apologize that this was on a Monday. We wanted to do this before the quarter ended, and it's the holiday season, so it's really hard. So if we could have been in the CAC, we would have found a way to be able to live stream it, and so we weren't able to do it this time around, right? So we'll definitely look into it because we understand that sometimes it's difficult to get away, especially when your husbands or your spouses are working shift work. So we recognize that, we get it, and we do want your input. So absolutely hear you. Commissary privileges with contractors. I'm not tracking what Wainwright is doing, but essentially commissary privileges are just what they are, privilege, right? They were established for our military servicemen and women and their families to provide options. And so while I understand retention can be very challenging here at Fort Greely, our privileges are just that, a privilege and not a right. And so there are various DOTIs and all of the things, OPM guidance that's out there on who has access. I would offer up to that individual, if that is a really, really burning thing, they can always go through their contracting channels and get a request for an exception through the Department of the Army, because that's what we've had to get, right? We all know what happened when the IGA, our outside grocery, collapsed. Like, we had to get access for our DOD civilians to be able to shop in the commissary. While, again, recognize remote, but we do have 2 places that are outside of the installation, it's just understanding that the services that we have are there for a reason. The commissary is a part of the appropriated funding. They get some offset with appropriated funding, and so contractors shouldn't be utilizing things, exceptions to everything, of course, but not approved by me. That's like at a much higher level. Like this is like Department of Defense, Department of the Army, Department of the War now, whatever it is. That's their authority to say yay or nay. I think that this installation is very fortunate. I think I've said it to you, most of the people in here. We have services available to us, access available to us that are not available to a lot of other installations in the Army. While I get it, we're very far away, the commissary is a privilege to our active duty servicemen and women, retirees, our family members, and now our DoD civilians, thankfully, right? So that may not be the answer that they want to hear, we would be welcome to have further conversation about that with that individual.
Fort Wainwright is not open to contractors.
So, ma'am, sorry. No, listen, I appreciate you. We appreciate you.
I don't know when it happened, but at the visitor center, they have said that it's no longer able to do like dependent ID cards. Has anybody brought this up, or is there any idea of if it's going to be brought back?
That's not an accurate thing. I'm not saying that that's not a perfectly reasonable understanding that someone in the community has had based off of the changes. It is still open for all DoD ID cards
to be processed at that site. Now, the challenge is scheduling an appointment online and then coming in for that.
When I checked, they told us they were not doing it anymore for dependents.
It's not the Directorate of Emergency Services responsibility. It's a thing through DPFS. So the full explanation is we're not authorized an ID card service here because we don't have enough people by regulation and by guidance. However, we did an exception to policy and said, no, we're going to have ID card service at Fort Greely because we're not going to ask people to drive 2 hours one way in the middle of winter for an ID card. I do it every day. However, I'm not everybody. Right? You can't ask families to get on the road at -40 and you're not mitigating risk, you're gambling at that point. So yes, it is still open. Do you know something I don't?
So they were closed for like 2 weeks, the last week, and I want to say this week. But if you make an online appointment, they are back open. They had an emergency and the person could not make the ID cards at that time.
So I
They do have it.
I think it's terrible communication and we missed the mark helping the community understand there. But I say very adamantly that family members are going to get ID card services here at Fort Greely. And if you have problems with it, just call me.
Where do we go online?
I've always called.
ID card online. There should be, I think, a QR code and a flyer at the visitor center, as well as that is your mechanism to manage your DEERS profile, update your address, all kinds of other stuff. If you look for Department of Defense ID card online, it normally is the first link.
So families need to do that also.
They can do it. They don't have to have a .mil account in order to do it.
Okay.
It'll show you hours, locations, and then you can book appointments. And it will,
It's still only a couple hours, 4 hours.
yes, so there's reduced hours, but
Hours down there, but they will make the appointments for you.
it's a contracted service that is providing it. So they're on very strict guidance on when they'll be there. But yes, we at this command and our parent command at USAG Alaska don't think it's the right answer to get those services at Fort Wainwright. Okay.
And just a side comment, they were closed for ID cards until today, actually. They reopened today and should be good to go now. And something like that was sent out via the email distro that I send out, but now we can start getting it out further. So.
More questions? Oh.
Oh, just a comment about the ID cards.
Oh.
If you do have issues there, or if you tell people when they have issues, just don't get in arguments with the people there. They might not know. Just bring up the chain. Otherwise, we'll be there.
Well, and so he says that to say this, right? Like, again, this installation is different. Most of our services are generally performed in-house, but their ID cards aren't performed in-house. That's a contracting service. And so if there were concerns, issues, like, yes, please let leaders know so we can have a conversation about the contracting, like the contractor.
I love it. I was law enforcement for like 24 years of my 25-year career. So I'm right there with you, brother. I'm no longer in that field. However, I picked up some particular skills in that field. And if you need to cuss somebody out or, talk about your day just not working out, come see me. My cell phone's on global. You guys mean that much to me? Call me. I don't care. Let me hear it. Let it out, because can guarantee you will not get a reaction other than thank you. I appreciate the feedback. We'll see what we can do, even on your worst day. Okay?
Any other questions? Questions?
I have a few comments.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Chief Wilkins with the 49th. I'm in charge of maintenance supervision. I want to say thank you for this today. The reason why I say that is because, yes, a lot of word does not get around, especially in my unit, and that's because most of the E6s and below they're not behind a computer. It's a lot of the E7s and above. And those that do have access to computers, that comes out from Ms. Glass, and thank you for that, they're not in charge of soldiers. So we'll work on that. We'll take this back to our command team to make sure that soldiers are getting the word to include their families. So I'll bring that to the commander. But I really commend that you're doing this, because it's good to get with the mission partners, all the tenant units. And I also have another comment. Again, thank you, Ms. Glass. You've been doing it for years, sending down information to keep us informed so we can give it to the soldiers. And we're doing our best with doing that. And we have family members that are involved for doing that as well. So thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Any last burning? No?
Don't look at them, Sonny. Let them talk if they want to talk.
Again, we appreciate the questions, the comments, the feedback. Everything that was asked, discussed today, we'll definitely follow it all up. I would be a bad commander if I didn't talk about all the great things that we do have coming up, especially this week. Just again, most of the people have already spread the word. We have our tree lighting that is on Friday at 1800, 6 p.m. And it's going to be amazing, so spread the word even more. And remind people, because we all have busy lives and sometimes we forget all of the great things that are going on. Indoor playground, again, I will take this opportunity. It's new, it's great, utilize it, but please supervise if you are going there. Again, thank you so much. This is not the last one. We are going to do this town hall, community town hall, every quarter. We will look at the time. Ensure that we're socializing it to everybody. And before I wrap it up, Sergeant Major is very thoughtful, way more thoughtful than I am. I want to give him an opportunity to say a few things, because I know he has them.
Well, thank you. Just want to thank everyone for coming here today. Again, the commander stated earlier, I think this is a real good share information platform as well, and solution focus. moving forward. That is a great thing for all of us. And we don't know what we don't know. So all we have to do is come together in a quarterly or staff efforts to make sure that we maintain this as we go forward. Let me remind you that the Army #1 asset is the soldier, the American soldier. Everything else we do, our families, our community, our workforce, everything we do is to enable the American soldier to do their mission. I want to make sure that we keep that in forefront of our thoughts and our prayers as we continue forward. So again, I don't have anything else. I've taken notes of a lot of great feedback. The ID card efforts or the contract. This is good because we have to not only work with the hours, the QR code, but also their contract life cycle. We will continue to track that so we don't fall back like we did last year. That was another issue. But just one example of the value feedback that we get. So thank you all for, very much for that. And as the commander stated earlier, we have great events, always finish with a good note. I think the commander mentioned it, but our playground, our indoor playground, very significant, is a milestone here. The community really needed it. However, there's areas that we can get better as far as our young ones to make sure that they are safe. So I ask the community to please emphasis on supervision as we utilize the facility. But at the same time, we are looking at other ways to better protect our young ones as far as the facility, the structure is concerned. So that doesn't fall. That's always going to be a continuous thing for us to look at as we open up the facility for usage. So that safety is always in the forefront of my mind when we're looking at families and our young ones utilizing the facilities. So that's something that we're looking at. Just to echo the commanders, the MWR wanted me to emphasize that, but we can't not stop at that. We have to figure out other ways, whether it be big Army ways or the manpower. Anyway, so that's all I have, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. I'm not going to keep you all any longer. Again, appreciate your feedback. We appreciate what each of you do for this community, for our soldiers, to enable the success of the mission that's here, right? It's a super important mission, we know that. And so please continue to provide us feedback so we can help you, because that's the goal. Again, the goal of these is to be transparent, is to help inform in maybe small ways, but also to listen to what you have to say and what's on your thoughts. So thank you so much. I wish you warmth and a wonderful holiday season. So thank you.